Hello everyone, my name is Elvin. I'm glad to here to introduce our analysis machine, Verify, to all of you. So here's the new analysis machine we just released in March of this year. So there's several advantages on Verify. The first one is the 8-inch capacity touchscreen on the front panel. You can use your finger to do the control on the screen, or even you wear the glove, you can do the control as well. And then we have the integrated ventilator inside the Verify. Also, there's the turbine driven inside the Verify. Then you can use the turbine driven to depress the bellow to deliver gas of the inside the bellow to the animal. So you don't need to have the oxygen concentrator or gas cylinder to provide the driven gas to the Verify, which means you can use Verify with the oxygen concentrator. So that is the only one animal analysis machine can fulfill these functions. Now, and then we can see there's the vaporizer here, this V60. So V60 will already sell more than 10,000 units around the world. The most important thing is that V60 does not need the maintenance or calibration during his lifetime. And also we has the linkage, gas flow, temperature compensations design on V60 to make sure the anesthetic agent delivered by the V60 is accurate. Beside this part, we can see there's the HGO switch buttons. So by this switch, you can switch on and off the HGO. When you turn it on, you can see there's the prompt message on the screen to tell you that the HGO already turned on. Okay. And then beside the main body, there's the integrated breathing circuit. On this breathing circuit, the first important thing is that we have the switch here. You can use it to switch between the mechanical ventilation or manual ventilations. Then we have the APL valve here with a scale. So you can see there's the scale just indicated how much of the pressure you set to the airway. And this blue button, you can use it to increase the pressure inside the breathing circuit, just to make sure if under the urgent cases you want to send the gas by the manual to the animal. Of course, it's only used with the APL valve under the minimum projections. Below the breathing circuit, there is the CO2 solar line canister. So it's visible from outside, so we can see the color changes of the solar line inside, and then to change it in time. And you don't need to use any tools to take out of the canister, and also no need tools to put it back. Okay, another important design on the Verify is the software or the functions on the Verify. The first thing is about the linkage test. So after you turn on the unit, the system will just request you to perform the linkage test. And you can see the instruction on the screen just to tell you step by step to perform the linkage test. After you finish the preparations by the instruction, then you click continue. The system will just perform the linkage test by itself. And the linkage test will finish within 30 seconds. After the linkage test finished, you can see there's a prompt message to tell you if there's any linkage or passed. If there's any linkage happens, the system will just tell you that how to track how to perform the troubleshooting. Yeah, you passed, they will be passed. Okay, so I'll just simulate if there's any problem happens. Just like I take up the Y-piece tubes, so we continue. Okay, I switch here. And then I perform the linkage test. Linkage test failed, it will just tell you to check if the Y-piece tube is already connected, just like I already did. Okay, so our machine is very smart. Okay. So another important design on the Verify is the ventilation mode. So there's the waste mode. You can see from here. So the waste mode, the lowest body weight supported by the waste mode or the VCV mode on the Verify is 5 milliliters, which means we can support the animal body weight lower to 500 grams. And more important is that on the waste mode, the tidal volume and the respiration rate will adjust it automatically based on the animal's body weight. I'll just show you once again. I just adjust many animal's body weight to 4 kilograms. As we can see, the tidal volume will change. Of course, it will increase more. The tidal volume and respiration rate will change automatically. Another thing for the waste mode is that the trigger. So we can set the trigger to auto, which means the system will detect the animal's spontaneous breathing by itself. If there's any spontaneous breathing on the animal, you just to deliver the gas to support the animal's spontaneous breathing. If there's no spontaneous breathing detected, you will start the backup ventilation mode. So let me simulate the ventilation to show you about that. Okay, let's start the case. So now if there's no spontaneous breathing detected, after a certain time, based on the respiration rate you already set, you can see there's backup ventilation already started. And if I use the menu bag to simulate the spontaneous breathing, you can see the purple color means the spontaneous breathing detected by the system. So the system will use the preset tidal volume to deliver gas to the animal. So this is the instruction of the waste mode. Another thing, you can integrate the CO2 module on the Verify, but it's optional. As we can see from this unit, there's no CO2 module on it. Of course, we can integrate it to install the CO2 module on it, and then you can have the CO2 monitoring waveform and parameter on the screen. And another thing is about the safety of the Verify design. So on the real side, actually we can install the waste gas absorber tray on it. So we can place the CO2, the waste gas absorber on it. After you connect the waste gas absorber tray key to the Veta, you can see there's the menu. You can click the menu's bottom and enter the weigher menu. Then you can do the 0 of the weighting tray kit. After that, you set the weighting limit for the waste gas absorber. After the weight of the waste gas absorber reach this limit, the system just prompt up the message to tell you that you need to replace the waste gas absorber. So this is just for the safety of the animal and the doctors. Last but not least, the last important design on Veta is that the difference between Beta 5 and Beta 3. First is the display part. Second one is the breathing circuit part. So if at the very beginning the hospital has not enough money to purchase the Beta 5, so he can purchase the Beta 3. And if the hospital want to upgrade the Beta 3 to Beta 5, he can order the display part, breathing circuit part, and then to do the placement and upgrade the Beta 3 to Beta 5. So this is the modular design for the Beta. So that's all the instruction of the Beta 5 and the Beta 3, Beta series. Thank you.